And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's post-game, preseason post-game, everyone. Great to have you back right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I do have one in the can. I'm going to go ahead and pop out over, of course, the evening. So everybody on their way to work will have a fresh Pop Culture Cosmos where we talk probably the end of Tron. Yeah. But also as well, New York Comic Con. Talk about what Marvel was doing there. Talk about some of the trailers that were released. Also as well, want to go ahead a little bit into Battlefield. We talk a little Xbox and more. So go ahead and check out the Pop Culture Cosmos wherever you get your podcast Monday morning. It'll be right there waiting for you, right there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, as well, of course, don't forget my good friend, indeed, Chris, the art director. Of course, you know him as Drip Show. Drip Show shop for amazing quality collectibles that touch on pop culture and also, as well, of course, the sports world. If you want something in a design, in a hat, a shirt, canvas art, pillow, or more, go ahead and check it out today. Follow Chris, the art director, at Drip Show Shop on Twitter and Instagram. Let him know what you're thinking of. He'll see if he can design it for you, and he'll get you, obviously, a great quote on that as far as a good price, and send it out to you, and you will have something there that will always cherish. I will always cherish my Kobe Sega Genesis canvas art that he so graciously sent me, and hopefully he can do something like that for you. It is at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Also want to give a big shout out if you're in the Las Vegas area. I want to go ahead and give my friends at Retro City Games a big shout out. They are opening their fourth store tomorrow, and it will be once again a video game store on the Strip. We actually lost all the video game stores on the Strip with the closing of GameStop on Fashion Show Mall. So I wanted to give them a big shout out. They are opening a video game store on the Strip, so the Strip will have a video game store on once again at Caesars Forum Shops. That's right. They're opening up tomorrow morning at 10. Their grand opening is going to be a collector's edition. So it would be finer, upscale collectibles, video games. Really, if you're a collector of video games and all sorts of good stuff in pop culture, check it out. Retro City Games on the forum shops right there at Caesar's Palace, indeed. But also wanted to give a big shout out to, of course, Lakerholics crew. Jamie Sweet was on earlier today with me. Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet are arguing about this time around. Once we find out each and every day what's going on with the Lakers at Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, I'm part of Jeff TV covering the Lakers and Dodgers. I know he's excited. Also, as well, the Joe Soro experiment with Joe Soro. Those guys are really excited for what's to come with the National League Championship Series tomorrow with the Dodgers and the Brewers. Looking forward to seeing what's going to go on there, but also as well what's going to go on with you guys as far as your thoughts on the Dodgers and what's upcoming there as well. Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Chris Lardieri, my good friend, my co-host on the show, has told me he is going to be available for this week. So I'm hopeful that we'll get one out to you guys, and I'll let you know on this show that we do. But also as well, my team previews. Don't forget my NBA team previews with my interviews with sports writers and personalities and hosts from all around the world who cover their specific NBA teams. We have got all of them lined up for you, and we have done it, I think, as far as best job we can to try and show you guys that we have a lot of good stuff on the way for you on that. Each and every day, I've been releasing a new NBA team preview, one after another, after another. Earlier today, I did for our members only. Right now is Portland Trailblazers with Peter Sampson. That was a great conversation. So if you want to go ahead and check out what I'm doing, become a member, you get those videos first, 24 hours in advance, by becoming a member for just $2.99 a month, right there for you. And then if you don't want to wait, you want to be a little bit cheap, you don't want to help me out, the $2.99 a month, that's fine. I understand. I respect your decision on that. But you guys get ahead a little later on, as far as a day later, for those videos. Right now, you're on the Phoenix Suns, part 1 and part 2 Luke Duffy was the latest one I released you guys out. So go ahead and check out what I'm doing each and every time out on our NBA team previews as we continue. And I also have other special interviews that are of great interest to you guys as well right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, the Lakers' third game after a week off on the exhibition schedule was against Golden State. And we thought maybe that we'll see the first time in Marcus Smart in the Lakers jersey. No, last minute, JJ said, no, I said he was going to play. No, I made a mistake. Smart will play some other time. Yes, he's talked about the next 2 of 3 exhibition games you will see Marcus Smart. Luka Doncic warmed up great, looked great in warm-ups, and talked about possibly him being able to play the game today. Oh, no, wait a minute. JJ said, no. Next 2 of the 3 exhibition games, you'll be able to see him there. They had the audacity and the mindset to go ahead and have scheduled a back-to-back during the preseason schedule, which blew me away. I don't get it. You have a week off, but you have a back-to-back. You couldn't find a spot to put in a different spot. Okay, but anyways, need I digress on that? But yes, you will see Luka Doncic and Marcus Smart in 2 of the next preseason games. But tonight, we did have out there a few of the guys that you'll be seeing on a regular basis, including Rui, Deandre Ayton, Austin Reaves, and how did that look along with the rest of the crew in the first game after we found out that LeBron James will be out for several weeks at the very least before they reevaluate him. So how did it work out for the Lakers today against a Golden State team that didn't have all of its starters as well? How did that match up in the exhibition season so far? But the Lakers, 0-2 on the season coming in, found their way to success. They started strong. First half, 63 points in the first half, really got it going. And despite the Golden State Warriors in the third quarter, coming back strong. They had it down to, I think, 6 or 8 before the Lakers finally said, no, we're going to go ahead and keep some distance from you. And the Scrubs versus the Scrubs in the fourth quarter, the Lakers won that quarter 36-31, and the Lakers ended up winning 126-116. I think the best performance or the most satisfying performance outside of Austin Reaves, who scored 21 points, did get 5 turnovers, though, but 21 points, 3 assists because he was asked to do most of the playmaking until he turned an ankle. We'll find out how serious it is. He didn't look too concerned about it because he was sitting on the bench, so not too really concerned there. Deandre Ayton, I think a lot of people were curious to see how well he was going to play, and you got good Deandre Ayton today with 14 points, 8 rebounds, and a block, and 2 steals. Rui Hachimura, 3 of 4 for behind the arc. 16 points for him, pretty solid as well. Dalton Connect, who I've talked about at length in regards to him playing for his very future with the Lakers, because he still has to wait for the team to decide to pick up his option for the next 2 years, for the next 2 consecutive Halloweens. So they've been playing him a lot, more than anyone in this preseason, and they played him more than anyone in this game with 34 minutes, 4 of 9 overall, 2 of 5 from 3, 6 of 8 at the line, 16 points, 3 rebounds, decent as far as the offense is concerned. The offense was pretty solid, so that's a bright note. It's probably one of his better performances in since the trade happened, because we were worried about his mindset going forward, and it hasn't looked pretty. But this was one of his better games since then, with 16 points. His defense was still not terrific or great or average, but yeah, his offense picked up some slack today, so that was a good sign. Jake LaRavia was 4 of 13, 1 of 4 behind the arc. Struggled a little bit with his shot today, but 11 points and 4 steals. Getting his hands in there, getting some good steals today. 4 steals for us. Let's go also as well. Gabe Vincent, 13 points for him. Another pretty solid shooting performance from him offensively overall, because he had the 16 points in his previous game that he played. So pretty solid there. So good signs for the Lakers, and hopefully that will continue into the season. And after that, as far as the limited time that was given to some of the bench guys, Brodie James, 5 of 5 from the line, 7 points overall. Nick Smith was 3 of 3. RJ Davis was 2 of 2. In this time, he had limited minutes, but still got his shots in there. Nate Williams, 2 of 2. Jackson Hayes was 5 points, 4 rebounds. And again, the Lakers pull out the victory, 126 to 116, to find success for the first time this exhibition season. But great to have you here. Hopefully, the guys are coming up on stage here in a bit. Legend said he's on his way to talk about his Warriors. And yes, Bronny James, SB, are you talking? You guys are going off already. Bronny, yeah, you got to the line. You made your free throws, so I'll give you that. Didn't do a whole lot else while you were cruising out there. But again, 5 free throws, 5 out of 5. Hey, got to keep hitting them like that. All right. See, working at the free throw line. So there you go. Absolutely. There you go. That's the way you need to get those free throws done there, Bronny. Who's in the chat right now for audio listening? Because our listeners are probably going, "What the hell is he talking about, Bronny, like that for?" There's a individual in the chat that's named himself Bronny James in recent episodes. So I wanted to give you guys that heads up. Indeed, the search and destroy said the Lakers played better defense. They did. Absolutely. Not having Curry there, search, I think, is a relief. And not having also Horford there as well, being able to spread the floor like they can, I think it makes it a lot easier to guard them. So yes, they did. We were able to be able to defend a little bit better along the perimeter. I saw that Dalton still struggles to move his feet, and that's still a concerning note. But he did have his best offensive performance in quite some time. So I think that's a sign and a hopeful sign for Lakers fans going forward. I think they will pick up his option here before Halloween for at least this year. We'll see what happens going forward. Somebody's obsessed with Cool Bro, but okay. JSJ, do I need to meet them? You guys are just having like a weird conversation on the side, but yeah, there you go. Did you like the lob? Yes, I like the lob, Bronny. Yes, always like to see the lob. But yeah, as far as overall, again, getting to the line, you made your free throws. I'll compliment you on that. Absolutely. There were still times where you're still a little bit frustrating to watch. As far as out there, you get lost a little bit defensively at times, but defensively, it's supposed to be your calling card, but you got to focus on that. Probably get in the video room, watch exactly where you can work on some things, and maybe we will see you going forward a little bit more in the rotation, whether we like it or not. But again, with your dad out, that's going to give a little more minutes to a variety of players, and we saw a lot of those players tonight play effective minutes while they're out there. A +6 for Bronny. So I'm going to give you a compliment on that. +6. You're out there. The team was positive out there while you were out there. Jake LaRavia +12. And then many of the other players for the Lakers were a plus, anywhere from a +1 to a +8. So if you like that plus minus statistic, it was positive for the most part for the Lakers as they win 126 to 116. Want to hear your thoughts tonight as we talk a little bit more about Dalton Connect and what his status will be. I mean, he is getting a lot of burn. It's intentional by the organization because they still have to commit $4 million for him, and they haven't committed it yet. So that's something to be aware of as we get closer and closer to Halloween. But he is getting a lot of usage time. He's getting a lot of playing time, and he's getting his looks out there. Today was a little bit better performance for him, so I wanted to give him a shout out from there. Austin Reaves, though. Austin Reaves looks ready to play. Hopefully the turn ankle was not too much of a concern. He didn't look too concerned when he sat down. So 21 points tonight for him. 5 turnovers, but again, 21 points, trying to generate the offense. But Deandre Ayton tonight, I want to go ahead and give a special shout out to him because 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in 26 minutes. Very solid effort, and that's something I think we can take moving forward. If we can get to 15, 17 from him a game, 10, 11 rebounds a game, and just overall solid play like what we saw tonight, that's great. He had the mid-range going. I'd like to see him once him and Luka start playing together to really start working on that lob, pick and roll, get the lob going. Like to see him get to the free throw line because I know it's been a joke amongst the NBA media about him not being able to get to the line. So yeah, just like to see what the status of it is as far as him going forward, and I'd love to see him being able to go ahead and be able to play as far as that's concerned at a good level, because obviously his future is riding on it. Apples, I don't know why somebody's asking me if I like apples. You just trying to mess with us as far as that's concerned. Those are just lame trolling. If you're a troll and you're doing it lame, you get called out on for being a lame troll. So it makes no sense trolling if you're gonna do it half-ass. Troll well or go. It's just that simple. Or just watch. There you go. Joe, it says no one's talking to you. All right. Joe's a troll. Well, yeah, we all know Joe's a troll. But that's just Joe. That's just Joe right there for you. I'm not reading it. Somebody said I know somebody said if I like apples. I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with the Lakers game? I don't care about apples right now. I care about the Lakers. And if you had any guts, Joe Soro, you would get on stage and talk about what you saw, what you liked and didn't like, and give people real analysis instead of your chit chat on the chit chat there. Give people real analysis of what you saw and observed in today's game, because I noticed that comments were earlier today that in fact, Jamie's guest said exhibition is important. Well, exhibition is important to guys that are trying to crack the rotation or make an NBA team. And today we saw a good bit of that as far as, Dalton Connect getting the lion's share of the minutes and opportunities to go ahead and see if he can, evaluate him as far as he can be a member of the rotation going forward. He said he's a big fan of, yes, we know Joe Soro likes Joe Soro. Yes, we know. Sometimes I don't know how you get your head in the room. It's just so big. The ego is just so big, but it is there. But Search, what's going on, my friend? Best in the business as far as that's concerned. Love all the mods. Absolutely, you guys do a great job. You learn from Search. You guys learn from the Master Jedi himself, Search and Destroy. Absolutely, indeed. Great to have you here. Martin, it's great to have you on the playback. Truly appreciate you joining us. Bronny James, you won't be a fan of him anymore after you heard me say this. Yes. Bronny, stop asking if people saw your lob. You acted like it's the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, it was a lob. All right, I get it. All right, get over it. It's the preseason. Again, it is, of course, the Lakers winning 126-116. Absolutely a nice performance for the Lakers from outside the third quarter. It was actually pretty solid for the first half. And then, of course, into the fourth quarter with the scrubs, giving enough effort to win the quarter there. But yes, definitely like what I saw from Deandre Ayton today. Definitely what we needed from that center position that we didn't get last year after Anthony Davis left. So yes, getting 14 and 8 in 26 minutes, pretty good productivity. I like the fact that he was sharing the ball, 5 assists from him, 2 steals, absolutely a positive performance. Jared Vanderbilt, who has been the source of much discussion. I have speculated that he will probably be the name that's called at the beginning of the season to be in that starting lineup to replace the injured LeBron James, simply because he's a known quantity to JJ. Whether you like him or don't like him, whether you're on Vando Hill or not, he does look healthier because he's another year removed from that double foot surgery. Today, you got pretty much what you can expect from Vando. 3 of 9 today. Most of those were close in shots. 0 of 4 from 3, which is right in line with what Vando does. 6 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. No steals, though, but again, a positive with the +1 and the +1 minus. Only 1 turnover. Again, how much you can have him out there, as long as he's still playing good defense and trying to defend at a high level, we'll have to wait and see, because you're going to have, with LeBron James out, you're going to have to find a way to go ahead and be able to make up not only for the points, but for his presence, and be able to, if that's the case, change your makeup a little bit by putting in more defenders. I think Jared Vanderbilt is obviously someone the team is looking at as far as filling that spot in the rotation or in the starting lineup for now, whether we like it or not. Bronny James says Uncle Game had another solid performance. Yes, 13 points. That's a good sign. Interesting that it comes in the final year of his contract, but again, this is just the exhibition, so I'll see if that lasts. If he can get you double-digit points, or if he can average double-digit points for the season, that's a big bonus for a bench that was absolutely one of the worst last season. So I'm looking forward to see if he can contribute that on a regular basis for a team that will sorely need it, especially because the fact that they lost 24, 7, and 7 out of the lineup with LeBron James. And even if you say, okay, he's not going to get that, even if he was healthy this year, 21 or 22 a game, 5 and 5 goes out of your lineup like that. You have to figure out how you're going to make up for it amongst the other guys. Search and Destroy says Reaves looked a lot more polished. Absolutely correct, Search. He looked very comfortable out there. He looks like he's really got his game where he needs to be from the get-go. This whole entire exhibition season, he's played 2 games. In both the games, he's really looked like he's just ready for the season to go, and that he looks like he wants to get paid. He's being very aggressive. His playmaking skills seem to be pretty good. The turnovers, 5 turnovers. Sometimes he was being forced to do too much, but then again, he'll have Luka alongside him on many occasions, so he won't have to try to force things in the offense maybe as much as he is right now, but he will be getting increased usage with the injury to LeBron James. So look for him to be a key part of the Lakers offense going forward, even more so in the coming weeks and months. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. He looks like he's ready. And if he can get anywhere close, Search, to 40% shooting, as far as his three-point shooting is concerned, that would be just such a big bonus. So I'm looking forward to seeing him and having that discussion on how much we need to pay him, if we need to retain him, should you trade him. I'm just looking forward to seeing if he can become that guy that can really take that next step. I'm not going to be like Sean. I know Sean had said about him being an all-star. I'm not ready to go there yet, but if he can become even a close to a top 50 player in the league by the time the end of the season's done, that really is a big bonus for the Lakers. Although some people would say he's up there right now as a top 50 player. So there you go. JSJ said, I'm calling Pat Spencer as an all NBA tryhard. Yep, that's how he made the team last year, JSJ. Pat Spencer is Mr. Hustle. He doesn't have the gifts that a lot of the other players do that they take for granted in the NBA, and he is a big effort guy, and you got to give him credit for that. And obviously Steve Kerr likes that, and that's why he was on the team last year, and that's why he's playing it right now. I think Bronny need to take some lessons from Pat Spencer, because sometimes he gives the effort that I think a lot of people would like to see more of from you on that, as far as on both ends of the floor, as far as being able to give that extra 100%. I think a lot of people have said that sometimes you look too relaxed out there, and I think if you need to just go ahead and obviously give as much effort as you can, then obviously that will help the Lakers going forward, as much as we'll see if your shot improves as well. I mean, if you can have a chance to go out there, Bronny, and be able to play solid defense and be able to shoot at least an average level in the NBA, who knows? But I don't know if that will be the case, but we'll wait and see. I know you are, with your father's absence, is probably going to get more of a look, again, whether we like it or not. Xbox, what's up, my friend? Always great to have you here. Yes, Spencer is your friend. Oh, that's great. Look at what the cat dragged in. It is my good friend indeed. It is, of course, the mastermind behind Simblades, SimBladesWorldwide.com. I know him and I go at each other all the time, but there is no doubt who I would recommend for your next lawn or artificial turf needs. It is Simblades, SimBladesWorldwide.com, because you cannot deny the quality that it's there. And also, as well, the guy behind the Joe Soro experiment. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. I know that my audio is on mono for right now. I'm going to try to adjust it while you talk, because I think my headset is just something wrong with the battery right now. So I'll try to figure it out right now, because I'm on my camera mic. But let me ask you this. Let me take away some good thoughts from you on the game, as far as how the Lakers looked in that first half, because that's really what we can evaluate it on in these exhibition games, is how they looked in that first half.
Deandre Ayton is going to be the improvement on no matter what.
You're awesome.
So we know that. He's going to be an improvement no matter what, which can take the Lakers into a much better area than they were after the AD trade for Luka. We've talked about that. Austin Reaves did his best work today against a preseason team, a team that was second tier, third tier. He dominated that, which adds more credence to the fact that if he was able to come off the bench, he would flourish. He would flourish so well, and he would help the team so well that he would likely be a candidate for Sixth Man of the Year. The roster may not allow that, though, if Marcus Smart is not available on a regular basis, if LaRavia isn't hitting his shots, if Dalton Connect doesn't hit his shots. I understand that. But if those guys all do their job, JJ Redick has to consider it if he wants the best possible lineups throughout an 82-game season with this team. However, the LeBron James scenario might have buried that anyways. If he misses the first 15 games, you're going to have to it doesn't matter. You got to start. You got to start Austin at that point, because he's going to be your best. He's going to be your second best player on the team. So would it change when he comes back? Probably not, but I wish it would.
Want to talk about Dalton Connect. This preseason, he has got substantially more minutes than anyone on the team. And tonight was his best scoring effort on the offensive end so far. And he's going to have to rely on that, because we've seen his defense and, well, let's just move on. His offensive game, he has to hit 40% as a three-point shooter in the league. In that, thank you, Joe. With that, my friend, I want to ask your thoughts on this, because the Lakers have till Halloween to decide to commit another year for him, and then the following year on that as well. Your thoughts now that the pressure's kind of on. They had him out there as in the starting lineup tonight for a reason, guys. It is to showcase him, not for a trade or value, but to find out, does he still want to be a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, Joe? It was clear this exhibition season, playing him a lot is a priority.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him.
Because they have to commit $4 million. I
don't think it's, even if they did commit to it, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's a bad deal. It's not a lot of money. He could be put into it's another way to be able to add something to a trade and have some value with him. It's not out of the question that somebody like Dalton can flourish in the next year or two elsewhere. I don't think anyone who can shoot like him can find a place in the NBA. He's got the size for it. As far as his defense, I don't know what's going to happen with that. This doesn't look good. He needs to be somewhat serviceable. A person that athletic has to be somewhat serviceable. It just has to happen. You can't be this bad, especially against second and third tier play by a preseason team. This is when you should hone in on that. I'm not looking at his extension, yes or no. And it wouldn't bother me if they don't pick it up. It wouldn't bother me if they did pick it up. I don't know. I don't think it's that important. The money is low. And the way the NBA is constructed, the more money you have in the books that you can move to add talent, the better. The Lakers will need to find an identity, and it's going to be a little bit longer than I wish it would take, because LeBron's not going to be there. I was looking forward to seeing how this team would operate with a healthy, prepared, training camp tested Luka Doncic. But we're not going to get that either.
Yeah, I mean, JJ announced earlier today that he went back on saying that because he said Marcus Smart was going to play today. Then he went back on it and said, by the way, I was wrong on that. Sorry, guys. He and Luka, and by the way, Luka looked good in warm-ups. So he's fine, guys, out there. If you want to just take it on Twitter, just go ahead, look it up because he looked just fine. Those guys are going to play 2 of the next 3 exhibition games because, again, as I said, in their foresight, they decided to go ahead and plan a back-to-back exhibition game, which just blows my mind away still every time I say it. Why you would do that exhibition game season is beyond me. But, okay, needless to say, they're going to play 2 of the next 3 exhibition games. What are you looking for when those 2 finally become part of the lineup as far as what those 2 are going to do, what they need to work on, and how they need to go ahead and integrate themselves back into the team?
You're talking about Luka and Marcus Smart?
Yes, they are both scheduled to play 2 of the next 3 exhibition games.
I would like to see both play together for about a quarter. At least 1 quarter out of the 2 games. Not in each game. I want to see. I just want to see the body language. I want to see how they move. I want to see how the backcourt looks, defense, offensive wise. I'd like to see how their chemistry is a little bit, even though it's not going to be enough to really make an assessment. But I want to see that. I want to see how Marcus moves because it's going to play a big part in what the Lakers can be in the end. If LeBron comes back in December, let's say he misses a month. Just say that, let's say he comes back December 1. And the Lakers have done pretty well. Let's say they're sitting at 10-4, 9-4, something like that. I think that becomes now an asset for the Lakers because they were able to rest LeBron for a month and some change. I keep forgetting the season starts way earlier than late October. It's likely going to be something like 13-6 or 13-7. Let's say 13-7, 20 games, right? If they're 13-7, let's say, that's good. If LeBron isn't there until December 1. A lot of the reasons why that record would be that way is we're anticipating Luka being on an MVP run, and we're likely getting something out of Marcus Smart. If that's the case, then there are good things coming because it's going to take LeBron a few weeks to get his NBA stamina together, probably get back to normal after about a month after the new year starts. And if they're still playing with that same winning percentage, then you're really getting LeBron at the beginning of the year with not any repercussions. Matt, it's the exact opposite. You're getting LeBron getting into his groove with not as much intensive work on his part. And now you get to go into the dog days of the NBA year in January and February. And you can probably get the best part of him in those dead times in the NBA. And then, of course, February will come and the Lakers will have the ability to possibly add some talent to the team during the deadline.
One of the things I also wanted to ask you is your thoughts on Deandre Ayton. I mean, you've been very high on the possibilities of what Deandre Ayton can do. Obviously, he's playing for his career, his future, not only for a big money contract, but also the thoughts of him as a continual starter in the NBA at center. Because if it doesn't work out here, I don't know if he'll get many or more opportunities to be an NBA starting center. So with that said, seeing him today, seeing him utilize more of his skill set and bring in 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. He was much more active on both ends of the floor today, Joe. What were your thoughts on Deandre
Ayton? I saw Deandre Ayton do Deandre Ayton things. I thought his step back turnaround hook was something that I've said that's his signature move if he's able to hit that shot consistently, imagine this. He's getting that shot with the current roster today. He's going to get that shot with Luka, LeBron, and everyone else on that team because you can't double team every player. If he hits that shot on a consistent basis, then you have a huge asset on your team, and you're going to have a problem shading anyone towards LeBron or Luka during games because now you're going to get it's going to be a free layup, a free 3-4 foot shot from a guy that can make that shot on a consistent basis. And something that doesn't get talked about enough is the 2021 playoff series against Phoenix, the one that the Lakers went up 2-1 and then eventually lost because AD got hurt. Deandre Ayton was a 2-foot, 3-foot machine maker that whole series with AD or without AD. He's capable when he's focused. He is very capable, and he's going to be focused because he knows that if this team can make a deep playoff run, he knows that Miles Turner money's coming to him because he's better than Miles Turner, in my view. He's a much better player than Miles Turner when he's on. So he'll want to make sure that he's an asset because it's likely going to mean a $100 million contract with someone who really needs a player like that. And there are a lot of teams out there that need a center that they can put at the 5 for the next 4 years. The hard part's going to be if the Lakers go deep in the playoffs, lose in the Western Conference Finals, now they're kind of screwed. The Lakers either really suck in the end here or they have to win it all, or it's going to be very difficult to deal with what's next. And when it comes to somebody like a DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, and an Austin Reaves, they're not going to be able to sign everybody. They're going to have to lose at least one of those guys. And that wasn't even including DeAndre Ayton. I was actually just saying Reaves or Rui. It's going to be one of those guys. They're not going to keep both because they still got to get a second guy.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
And you can't tie $30 million to each to two guys when they're not. Those guys aren't even close to being a number two. They're not even close. They're not, in my view, they're not really a 3. Reaves is a 4. Rui is a 5 on a title team. Their money won't say that, but their skill sets, that's where they sit from my view.
Also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Truly great to have you here, my friend. I think Son has a question for you in the chat. Just want to mention to you, Joe. Legend, great to have you here, my friend. I know it's late for you. Your thoughts on the Warriors today? Obviously, not having Butler, Horford, Curry in there. Obviously, like the Lakers the other day, you know, when you don't have your main guys in there, obviously it sets you up, doesn't set you up well. Pods had a good game for you guys. 23 points for him. Kuminga, good and bad, 13.6 assists, but 0 rebounds from him. I think it's concerning. I think that just brings on that conversation that a lot of people talk about as far as the front line is concerned for Golden State when Quentin Post, Draymond Green, and Jonathan Kuminga averaging 20 minutes each get a combined 3 rebounds. That's not anything to write home about. But again, good third quarter for you guys. But today, again, it's a situation like when the Lakers went up there. You don't have your stars. It's really hard to go ahead and get the W in an exhibition game.
Yeah, it's not easy to try to win these type of games when you don't have your main core. But these type of games are pretty much good for just seeing what you got, what you got for your bench wise, and seeing who can do what. So you can try to put them in the right place going into the regular season. Like I said before, I'm not gonna take too much stock into how the preseason play out. I really just want the new guys and our younger guys to kind of build your confidence up, build your chemistry up with each other, and just use this time to see what we working with before we get ready to do the real thing. Okay, if I remember right, last year I think we did pretty good in preseason and started off hot, and then came all the way back down to earth and went through the struggles. So I know how it pretty much flows out, but this is a good time to see what we're working with. Let the young guys play, see who you should keep, maybe you should cut, as well as see what we may need when it gets to trade deadline. But overall, not bad. I'm proud of what we had for not having so many key guys. They did pretty good.
Well, I know that your team has been speculated on. We've talked about this, about how since they got the Al Horford signing, they seem to be the flavor of the week. A lot of these NBA insiders seem to be very tantalized about what could go on for Golden State. Joe, I want to ask your thoughts on Golden State real quick. I know that the Lakers, in their matchups against the Golden State, Lakers have had the advantage time and time again. Golden State obviously trying to have their one last run with Curry and Butler and Horford and Green. That's an old quartet right there. But, they have some youth, but they also have some named guys to follow back with them. Depth-wise, I would say they're better with the Lakers on the depth on that. But your thoughts on the Golden State Warriors heading into the season for them themselves?
Well, the Lakers were in the same spot of the Warriors until the Luka Doncic trade. They had aging stars whom had something left, but likely won't be enough to compete for titles comfortably. And that's the difference, is comfortably. It's difficult. It's always followed with an if. We've been iffing for the last 2-3 seasons. Jimmy Butler was supposed to be a player that was brought in to see if things played out correctly in the playoffs. And you have some room to say that nowadays, especially considering almost every star in the last, 4 seasons has blown an Achilles at the worst time, blown an ACL, whatever. So I could see the logic in taking a chance and going all the way, but it's just not a comfortable. It's not a comfortable assessment on what may happen. But they're in a worse spot now than the Lakers because they don't really have a young player on there. Kuminga is a good player, but he's not even a 2 to me. He's probably closer to a 3 if he gets to his peak in terms of his talent. He's kind of like a Rui, a better version of Rui, maybe. If I had to pick a comp, a better version of Rui at the top of his game. So that's not going to be enough. They need a star. They need a Giannis. They were able to bring in Giannis to play with Steph this year. It would be similar to how the Lakers roster is constructed. You have some young players there like Pods, and you have Kuminga, much like Reaves and Rui. And then you have Steph, who would kind of mentor a Giannis type thing into having him be the next guy. I don't know what Golden State's going to do next. I don't know what they're going to do, but I do know what they would likely have to do. They would likely have to find the next star. I just don't know who that is and who would go to Golden State. Someone would have to demand to go there as well. And then they can use the Jimmy Butler contract to make it work. It would have to be a demand. So because
I don't even know if they have enough picks to go after.
And that's the problem. Keep having to reiterate this. This I actually do know why. The $70 billion TV contract was what made the negotiations really not a negotiation, but a formality. The owners waived $70 billion, I believe, to the NBA PA and said, sign this immediately so we can get this contract in. You guys are going to make a shitload of money. And that's all the PA cared about. The problem is that money, because players are generally stupid when it comes to business, that deal actually may have handicapped stars in the even more in terms of their peak money, because they have two options now, and it's real now. Before, there was a little bit of room with the bird rights and teams willing to go over the cap, go over the luxury cap. Now it's a pseudo hard cap once you get over the second apron. Now there isn't a choice. An owner can't come in and go, I don't give a damn what's there. We'll get the bird rights and then we'll pay them what they want. They can't even do that anymore. It's a hard cap after the second apron. So now a star player, we were talking about how Luka and more than likely Wembanyama, they may be the first 80, 90, $100 million a year players. Not really. Not really. Because if they do that, they will handicap their team and they will not win because they won't be able to pay anybody. It will happen in baseball because there isn't a cap right now. There's going to be a lot of discussion after 2026 if there's going to be a lockout. But in the NBA, that new deal handicapped the stars. And pardon the word, but socialized. They finally socialized the NBA with that deal. And it doesn't look like the players really understood what was going on there, especially the stars. So now, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to be Tom Brady. You want to win 7 Super Bowls, you're going to have to take a pay cut. So the next extension that Luka wants, especially if the Lakers get a second player, meaning a second star, he's going to have to make a choice on whether he wants to win championships in a consistent basis or be the top paid player in the NBA.
Once again, the Lakers win 126-116. It's Joe Soro and Legend, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. So, Legend, we're trying to meander halfway through the exhibition season.
You asshole. What the hell are you saying R.I.P. Phil Jackson for? He's not dead. He just had an 80th birthday. Stupid ass scared the shit out of me.
He's not. That's just what I was.
Fucking asshole.
Oh boy.
My heart stopped, man. 2025 has been a shitty year, man. We've lost how many people? We just lost Diane Keaton.
Yes, absolutely.
Stop fucking around, man. Seriously, what the hell?
You just gotta laugh because our chat just does and says the damnedest things. But Legend, let me get you back into this, my friend. So with the regulars, with the exhibition season halfway done for many teams, what are you looking to accomplish? What else is there need to be worked on from the Golden State vantage point? Because again, a lot of the players, Austin Reaves today, he can we just get this started? He looks ready to play today, and that's why when he turned an ankle, people are like, because he's already ready to play the game of basketball right now. And obviously there's still 3 more games to go. Obviously the Lakers are still trying to figure out rotation things. And in the case of Dalton and Bronny, who are getting extended minutes, whether or not they can actually compete for rotation spots. What is going on with Golden State and as far as the rotation is concerned? Because obviously I told you about the old quartet. They're 4/5 of your starting lineup right there. What happens with the rest of the guys and how that's working out? I think Pods sewed up the 5th starter spot with his performance today.
Yeah, I think Pods pretty much locked that down. Pods, a lot of your other younger guys. We got Milton, who's still coming back too. A lot of them still competing for spots, still getting a feel of what we got. Wise, the biggest thing I'm hoping for is just seeing growth versus how it wasn't that playoff run. Having a chance to see if a lot of people's offense has come up some, because I know that's what the biggest thing that we saw in that playoff that pretty much killed them. So having the chances to see what they look like, seeing how much Pods has grown up and become that, I want to say maybe not a Klay Johnson, but a good like Iguodala or something like that. Why can he grow and become something like that? Wise, but other than that, just seeing the young guys just compete, show their improvement, and then maybe the team gonna really blossom after we probably move off of Kuminga and trade deadline. Because I think what's going to end up happening, and maybe we can get into the sweepstakes for our guy in Milwaukee. See what happens.
So when you see a player like Fred VanVleet go down for Houston, you see a player like LeBron James go down for the Lakers. Keegan Murray was the latest to experience an injury. He'll be out several weeks because he had, I guess, surgery to his thumb because he hurt it last night or heard it the other night against Portland. When you see these type of injuries start to matriculate throughout the Western Conference, how advantageous do you find it for Golden State to maybe move up a slot or two in the Western Conference standings?
It make you realize them younger players, you're gonna be looking at them a lot harder. And because we got a lot of older guys, because that's the biggest thing I was going to season worrying about. And that's why I was so shocked that so many people were so high on them. Because you got a lot of guys in their late 30s, and at that age, you expect injuries to happen. So it's like, how often these guys are going to stay healthy? I think Steph is going to stay healthy. I think Steph will be all right. I'm not full sure for Al Horford. He in the 40. I'm not sure for him. But we're going to be looking at the younger guys a lot. We're going to need Paul and all them to step up. We're going to need them guys to be able to carry their weight. Because it's going to be some nights where you probably want to try to rest some of the older guys and try to finger cross that you can survive the injury bug. Because, like you said, Jared, we ain't even started the season yet, and a lot of main people are already going down, dropping like flies.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, Joe, again, we heard word earlier this week, there's sciatica issues. Maybe it's from picking up the Hennessy bottle too much in that ad or whatnot. But I will say again, obviously, is this going to affect the Lakers? Despite the fact 41 years old, whatever you could say about LeBron, he still was going to get you 20 to 22 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. That is really hard to replace in the lineup. So how do you approach it? How do you think JJ will approach it come the start of the season, Joe? Not having LeBron there possibly for quite a spell, maybe 15, 20 games, maybe even more. This could be a lingering problem throughout the season.
Run and gun. I want running and gunning. And the wings, waiting in the wings, ready to shoot. You got young guys that are here. You have Dalton. You have LaRavia. You have Luka. You have Deandre Ayton. You got young guys here. You have Austin Reaves. These guys are young. These guys are in their mid-20s. That's it. Guys, NBA players in their mid-20s are the perfect, especially when they're good players or great players. They're in that area where they've gotten enough of the taste of the pro game and the NBA game, and now it's time to really unleash them because the bodies can handle it. Now their minds have caught up to their bodies. Run and gun. I want to see running and gunning. And then when you get into the half court offense, depending on what part of the game you're in, you're going to see, let's say, Luka can run the half court game. He can run the pick and roll. That's great. Wait for them to drop on you. Alley-oop to Ayton. If they pack the paint, make sure you got guys outside on the corners waiting to get the ball. Running and gunning, though, will allow this team to keep their opponents never being able to get set. Showtime should be coming back. Luka Doncic is Showtime. They don't call him Luka Magic for nothing. He can run this. He can do this. And he's got some horses now that can handle this. So let's do that.
Let me ask you, though, because Luka, sometimes pace has been an issue with him. He actually in this last year with Dallas finally decided to speed up the pace a little bit more. But you could see him with his passing skills. He could really lead a break and lead that type of offense you're asking for. But he has been so used to just setting up the offense, figuring out what's going on. Then 20 seconds into the shot clock, being able to go ahead and figure out what's going on then. I really would like to go with you on that as far as an up-tempo offense that I'd like to see with LeBron James out of the lineup, that even they rely on it even more, Joe. Getting easy baskets, it just helps the offense flow. I mean, Indiana, look at the success they had when they had Halliburton last season, about how keeping the pressure on the defense on the other team really makes it a lot easier to win basketball games.
It is. It's very. It's key. It's a key to a couple things. Number one, your defense benefits from easy baskets because you can get back on defense much quicker. You don't need all 5 guys on the other side of the court, right? So you have a trailer, you have the guy that's initiating the fast break, and then you have your wing guys that are finding the spots to stay open or get to the basket. And in today's NBA, you know that fast breaks usually half the time end with 3-pointers. So it is what it is, right? You can have guys. You don't have to have 5, 5, 5, 5 all game. That tends to take a lot of energy. So if you can get some of those early baskets, you can get some good momentum going, because it figures into a lot of things mentally as well. Getting easy baskets helps enthusiasm. Enthusiasm helps defense. Defense is about effort. Defense is about being happy. That's really what it is. It's not because LaRavia can't step left or right. There are others that can step left and right faster than him, but he can still step left and right. And a lot of times that's an energy thing. It's a want thing. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is watch Pau Gasol, who was dubbed soft until he came to LA, had a bad finals in 2008, but then made up for it in 2009 and 2010. And most of the guys that were in and around that time, around Kobe and Pau, they all bought into the team concept. And the team concept was stay in front of your guy, put the effort in, make sure that you do your job. And they did that. The Lakers don't really have any time to figure things out right now. If they want to compete for a championship, they got to take the easiest road possible. And the easiest road possible right now is to use to their advantage, in my view, the best point guard in the game, who can adapt to any offense, can make any shot, and get to the basket whenever he wants. Use it. The Lakers in 2020, in my view, might have been probably the most efficient LeBron James in his career, which is crazy to say because he was pretty phenomenal in the early 2010s when he was winning championships in Miami. But he was not the point guard during that time. This man was efficient in that he was able to run the breaks, play the way he played in the most effective, most efficient way. And on top of that, he developed an inside mid-range game that all but pretty much clinched any chance of you consistently trying to beat him. He had the complete game, in my view, in 2020. Because he didn't have a mid-range. Yeah. I didn't see him play point guard. The man won a freaking assist record, for God's sakes. Assist record in his 17th season. So use that and take advantage of the roster. They were able to do that too because of roster construction. You had Rondo, who would come off the bench, who understood his role, who would be able to run point or not run point off the bench, though, which was a huge help. It was also a huge help when he would run the point and had LeBron drop to the 3 or the 4, where he could play the mid-range game. Oh, and they also had a couple guys that like to play defense too, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who can hit timely shots every now and then. Oh, and they also had Alex Caruso, who could do the same. Now, you don't have those kind of players, but you do have their youth. You do have a motivation by a lot of these guys like Reaves, like Rui, and Gabe Vincent, someone that I haven't talked about in the last few games. He's been actually playing pretty well, and it would make sense for him to go all out this year because he's also on an expiring contract. And if he can make some of the shots that he's been making the last few preseason games, now you're like, all right, we've been dogging on this guy for 2 years, and we're still going to dog on him until he's given us a reason not to. But man, what a huge asset it would be for him to be a guy that actually hits shots and plays on a regular basis. That changes the dynamic as well. Because now the pressure isn't so much on Marcus Smart to play 25, 30 minutes. Now Marcus Smart can play 20 solid minutes during the regular season. And then you save him for the playoffs. When you need someone to get shut down, Marcus Smart could be that guy that could at least put something in front of the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders or the Anthony Edwards and those types. It's a lot of working parts here, but take advantage of the fact that LeBron isn't here. And I know that sounds weird, but where that will help in that he is going to not have to have as much wear and tear to start the season, but you're also going to be given the chance to use your youth. Use your youth now. And turn it into a positive.
Once again,
Rondo is going to have a huge problem being a head coach in the NBA in today's game. Rondo, when the cliche of no nonsense Rondo, no nonsense type of people, Rondo will never make it in the NBA as a head coach unless there's like a Tim Duncan or a Dirk Nowitzki as his star. Someone that will eat shit in front of everyone, and everyone has to get in line. But if it's a diva, like most stars, like a LeBron or Jimmy Butler, those types, zero chance. Zero chance he'll ever make it. He'll burn out anyone in that area, and he'll get fired because you can't fire players, especially great ones.
Bronny, I think you need to do better fact checking on Nikola Jokic's preseason. He's shooting 80% from the floor. Just wanted to let you know he's cruising right now for the beginning of the season. He said because Bronny said that Nikola Jokic was regressing, and I'm just like,
and I want to say this: I'm
in the
very
past
happy.
90 days.
I'm very happy this happened. I'm very happy that what just happened, because look at how fast Gerald shut your ass out. You all think you're watching Stephen A. Smith and Molly Quirm, whatever the hell her name is. All those types, right? All those big name types that are on those shows who, they have to do a show and they can't watch stuff probably because they got to wake up in the morning, whereas we can do whatever the hell we want. I get it. But at the same time, that's your job. You should be good at it. Yeah, I know she quit. I'm just using that as an example. We actually know what's going on. You can't come in here with lies. We'll catch your shit. I can't tell you how many times we've caught people with lies because we know, we watch, we pay attention, we write it down, we prepare. You guys think that we don't prepare before the show? That's the whole point of the look. We're trying to make it look like we know our shit without preparing. But the reality is, behind the scenes, we prepare. You think I didn't look at notes? You didn't think I looked at stats before I got online? Why do you think it takes me a while to get on here sometimes? Did you not put those two together? So remember, guys, if you're going to come with some bullshit, especially for the new people watching, if you're going to come up with some bullshit, you better make sure you get ready to get smacked. Because if it's bullshit, you're going to get called out on it. And then you're going to go away. Because then you're going to go to some other douchebag's channel with some guy in his underwear doesn't know shit about basketball and let him be whatever it is that they do over there.
Because I want to make clear, Joe, because again, his statement was that he's been regressing in the past 90 days because EuroLeague and what he's done. And he said the exhibition season 2. And I'm just like, okay, his last 3 games, Legend, I'm going to bring it over to you, my friend. 4 of 5 in his first game, 6 of 9 in his second game, I believe, and 5 of 5 in the third game.
Don't sound like regression to me.
yeah, absolutely. So that was the ending of Bronny James right there. You shoot like that, Bronny, and then you can talk some smack. But I want to bring it back to you, Legend. Joe, I have a Rui question coming up here for you in a second. But Legend, I want to ask your thoughts with it. LeBron James, obviously, that's a big injury note for the Lakers. Their number 2 guy on the team. What he brings, what he does, arguments aside, Hennessy ad that was atrocious aside, attention getting aside, he does bring what he does bring, even at the age of 40 plus. I want to hear your thoughts on how, like for instance, with the Warriors, let's say a Butler goes out as your number 2 guy. What does that mean as far as for your team going forward and how you have to cope in the early weeks and possibly months of the season without LeBron being in the starting lineup?
Next man up mentality. That's what's gonna have to happen. When your second best player steps out, he hurt, gone for the next couple of weeks. That's when you look at Austin Reaves, all of them, you gotta step up. You gotta step up to the plate. Hey, this is the moment when you show you worth that big money that you want. This is your time. This is when you laid all the chips out there. If you can step up at this moment, hey, you prove at that point you worth the money. But if you can't hold your end of the bargain, then you ain't worth the money. So this is when players like him, Deandre, Ayton, all y'all trying to get that payday. This is it. This is it. A major piece is missing. This is it. If you ever want an opportunity to show up and show out, it's right now. You got to start out the season strong. You can't go out here and be lagging and ain't got no energy. No, man, it's time to step up. And that's the same thing with the Warriors. Butler go down, pause, all them, you got to step up. That's when all the other guys are supposed to be able to fill in the blank. That's when your third, your fourth, and fifth best option ought to be able to do enough together to make up for that second person. You can't make up for the complete impact, but the scoring wise, you ought to be able to replace that part. The defense wise, you should be able to replace that part. So this is Austin Reaves' time to me. This is it for him. This is when you're going to show how much you're worth.
Kurt's got a great question for us. I'm going to read here in a second, but Joe, I wanted to get your real quick thoughts on this. I was highly encouraged by what I saw from Austin Reaves today. He's set to go. He's set ready for the season. Deandre Ayton, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. He looked really solid tonight, and really that's an encouraging sign for going forward. But the thing we haven't talked about yet that I thought was really encouraging was Rui Hachimura. I know that a lot of conversation about whether he should start, not, what have you. But tonight, the thing that I saw, 3 of 4 from behind the arc, 16 points. It's the 10 shot attempts, second highest on the team, tied for second highest on the team. That really encouraged me, Joe, because again, one of the things with LeBron being out that has to happen is Rui has to become more aggressive while still keeping his efficiency, Joe.
Sure. There's only one basketball, and it's always hard for everyone to get what they need unless they understand the role and understand that when they're needed for specific games that they need to be the main option at that moment or at that game in general. I think Rui understands that. He's a team player. Austin, to a degree, understands that too. And I say to a degree because I still, again, feel that if certain things play out, I think he'd be better off the bench. He'd be better as the 6th starter. However, LeBron's injury is no longer allowing that to happen. So I'm not going to harp on that really until I see this team do what it needs to do when LeBron comes back. These guys played tonight the way they're supposed to play against second and third tier lineups. Deandre Ayton, Austin, Rui. So I'm not surprised either. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable that these guys are ready to go. And that's good. What I'd like to see after this is I want to see LaRavia and Dalton connect, be the players that this team needs them to be. LaRavia needs a little bit more concentration near the basket. I think he's playing ahead of his hands. I think he's too excited. He plays like today. He reminded me of Jared Vanderbilt a little bit in terms of his hands being too quick for his thoughts. And it could be he's anxious. It could be he doesn't want to mess up. Fine. That's what the preseason is for, is to get that out of your system. But LaRavia needs to be valuable in fundamental basketball. He gets those open. I'm not going to say he's going to be in the dunker spot, but the man is a tall man, and he's lanky. It would be nice to be able to rely on someone like him near the basket if there's a play that goes his way so he can get a layup. Because now we're not going to have to worry about Jared Vanderbilt being that guy. I would like LaRavia to be that guy, especially if you're using him and Connect in the same lineup. Remember, I told you guys, if these guys are going to run, those are the two guys I want on the corners. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, because they're athletic enough to create space, to get enough lift in their jumpers. They're tall enough as well to get a good, consistent shot. So what would the lineup be in that time? What would be easier for them to flourish in? Fast break, get to the outside guys. They can't double team both. One of those guys is going to be available for the open shot during a fast break. You got to make those shots in the corner.
Indeed. I agree. Indeed. And speaking of which, you talked about and you touched on the second unit. I'm going to hit up this question from Kurt too, because he centered it towards the panel as far as from all of us. Start with you, Legend, my friend, from Kurt Affair, our good friend. From what you've seen so far, what's the realistic bet or best second unit to ensure we have a competitive bench? So from a outsider's perspective, from a guy who is outside the Lakers fan bubble that we are in, Legend, how do you see a second unit for the Lakers? Obviously sans LeBron. Let's just say you had LeBron in the lineup right now. What do you see shaping up as a second unit for the Lakers? Because I know you already see one for the Golden State Warriors at this time.
I would say for the Lakers, to me, the dream unit would have been Austin Reaves coming off that bench. That would have been the icing on the cake. That would have been championship bench at that point. But I know he'll be in the starting lineup. So I would definitely say having Rui, because I think having Rui coming off, either Rui or having Marcus Smart or vice versa, still having the new kid that you guys just got, having him come off the bench would be a good punch. Hoping Gabe Vincent going to come up, knock down a couple of shots. That'd be a good boost off the bench. But I think those probably your three best ones coming off that bench-wise, unless Dalton is fully going to get out of his head and come back to that person that we saw last season before the trade. And then maybe if Bronny going to show a little something. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But other than that, I think that would be a good strong second unit to me. But I know the dream would be having Austin come out that bench. That is the main man that should have been leading that second unit. That's the guy. Sixth man of the year pretty much at that point.
Let me ask you the same thing from Kurt right there. As far as the second unit, Joe, how do you see it shaping out? Let's say LeBron was healthy, because if he comes back before the end of the year, obviously then that gives us a chance to solidify what the rotation is. What are you seeing as a second unit coming off the bench?
I would
Great
say,
question, by the way, Kurt.
Yeah, I would say slide Austin to the point. So they would start. Here's how I would set up the lineups. Just, it's so weird because LeBron's not going to be there, so I don't know how. Here's what's going to happen this year. I think what's going to happen is they're going to slide Austin as the point guard when they start the second quarters. Let's say if Luka's sitting.
Okay.
And he'll run the offense. And it'll be more half court, which is fine. Second units are not as rigorous as first units. So look for Austin to be the point guard, because really the Lakers don't really have another real point guard other than LeBron, but he won't be there. So I've seen LaRavia handle the ball a little bit. I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't see him running any kind of point forward or point guard thing, so that's not likely a reality there. So second unit, I see Austin taking the point guard duties at the beginning and helping the team create what needs to be done in terms of running the next 6 minutes in the second quarter before the starters get back.
Alfred, great to have Alfred Esmond in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we touch on the Phoenix Suns game, a little bit of what we should focus on, because I have a feeling that will be the game where we see Luka and Marcus Smart integrated into, because that is the next game up. But Legend, I want to ask you this in regards to what JY was asking. Legend is right on the next man up, because JY was giving you compliments on that. What about the coaching? Do you hold the coaching staff accountable? Let's say for both Golden State and the Lakers, are we accounting for the coaching staff? We know that Kerr is in the last year of his contract, and he hasn't either accepted or been offered an extension on that going forward. But with JJ as well, as far as how, when you shape up these benches, when you shape up these rotations, how much do you make the coach accountable for these rotations and how smoothly or not so smoothly they run?
I hold the coach out. I hold the coach under a lot of pressure as much as them players, because at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to you. Even when your best player goes down, you gotta be able to get the best out of what you got available. So you got to set up those guys into the best situations possible to get the best out of them. So even when LeBron's not there, hey, you gotta bring the best out of Rui. You gotta bring the best out of Austin. You gotta bring the best out of Connect. That's up to you to figure it out. That's your job. That's what they're paying you all that money to do. Figure it out. You can't just sit there and have a clipboard like Darvin Ham and say, "What you expect me to do?" So you gotta put it together. So I say there's a lot of pressure on them as well, other than just the players. Because at the end of the day, you the coach. Even though they out there playing, they got to talk to you. They're talking to you first. They running your plays. So if it goes down wrong, you're going to take the most heat before they will. That's for sure. And plus, you just signed a contract extension. So even though you are secure for a couple of years, you still want to play your butt off, because when new management come in, you might be going bye-bye. It happens. So you still want to go out here and give you the absolute best. So you gotta do your part and stand up these guys in the best position. It's on the coaching staff on that one.
So I'll bring it to you on this. And once again, the Lakers win 126-116. Joe, they finally win a game. They're 1-2 on the exhibition season. Their next game is in Phoenix. It's funny, I was looking up as far as what the tickets are going for. And just screams what the Phoenix Suns demand is. Joe, by the way, tickets start at $12. I just wanted to mention that to you if you want that part. But guess what? The next night in Vegas, it's $68 they start at. Just to give you a heads up on the difference in pricing on that. That's crazy. But be that as it may, I do think the Phoenix fans are going to get the treat, because it seems like that the Lakers, since they're playing JJ and Smart 2 of the next 3 games, one would assume that it's probably going to be in Phoenix. Your thoughts on what to look forward to with the Lakers suiting up against Phoenix Suns on Tuesday?
The evaluation process in the preseason is about how the player is moving, how they're making their shots, the energy, how they deal with momentum, and then also seeing what maybe a young player that we don't know about, how he performs. That's really what preseason is. It used to be seeing starters in there and seeing how they're going to be able to ramp up, but those days are gone. I just want to see Marcus. I just want to see Marcus's motor. How is he moving around with his legs? And we're not going to know a lot after one preseason game. Maybe we might see something in the second one. I don't know. But I'm crossing my fingers that he looks good, feels good, interviews afterwards and says, yeah, my body is ready for a season. That's kind of what I'm waiting to hear. I want to hear him say, I'm feeling really good. I've felt the best since I felt in the last 3 years. I'm ready to go get it. He has something to play for as well. He signed a 2-year contract, but he has a player option at the end of the year, which means if he plays well enough, he's going to opt out of that contract and hope for bigger money. This team is a one-and-done year, one-and-done team, one way or the other. Certain players are signed beyond this year, but there's significant players this year on this team that are not. I'm talking significant to the point where if all players didn't come back, Luka's the only max player on the team, and then you have very small contracts relative to what they have now left, which would allow the Lakers to have all the necessary advantages of being under the cap for them to go and find things that they want. That's why I'm still waiting on the official transfer from Jeannie Buss and the Buss family to the Guggenheims and Mark Walter. I'm going to know a little bit more about what's next once that's official. Then at that point, we can sit back and go, okay, what are we feeling throughout the year on what this team's going to actually do? Because there's going to be evidence between now and February on what this team wants to do next. You'll see it. I'm used to it from these guys. Blueprint is not different. The blueprint is not different, even though they're different sports. There's different rules. It's much easier in baseball, obviously. But winners win no matter what. If you don't need proof, look at Kroenke. Guy won a Stanley Cup in the NHL and their rules. Won a Super Bowl in football with their rules. Won. Doesn't he own a soccer team?
I believe
They
so.
won.
Yeah.
He also won. Kroenke owns.
I'll look it up right now.
Kroenke owns the. Why am I drawing a blank all of a sudden? He owns a basketball team too, right?
He owns the Rams, the Nuggets, the Avalanche,
Nuggets,
the
yeah.
Arsenal.
I don't know why my brain went.
Colorado Rapids,
Yeah.
Arsenal for the women's side as well. The Colorado Mammoth from lacrosse and the Los Angeles Gladiators as an esports team.
So he's won in the NBA, in the
his
NHL.
dossier is full, Joe.
Yeah, he's won in the NBA, won in the NHL, and won in the NFL.
I just want to say thanks, Legend, for stopping by. Appreciate it, my friend. Check out his channel. I got Next Sports Media.
Look,
Appreciate it, Gerald. Y'all
Thanks.
have a good night.
Thanks, Legend. Have a good night. So, the excuse birds, the excuse tweets. It's interesting how you can tell a person's personality immediately by when they start a conversation with an excuse on a subject they have no knowledge of. Just like how someone's saying Jokic is dropping. They're dropping because you want him to drop. You've manifested in your own mind that he's dropping. The reason for that, I have no idea why you would want to do that. But you're not alone in doing that. I have seen that happen so many times in so many areas, sports, personal or not, where you're sitting there and you're like, why is this person saying this about this person and it's not true? They're just making shit up on purpose? Did they read something online that told them that something's going wrong? Winners win, folks. Doesn't matter what it is. They figure it out. Dr. Buss, when the NBA kept changing the rules to combat the Lakers. Now, that in itself could be something where I might be exaggerating too. There was no official meeting or word with David Stern and the NBA owners saying, we got to put in a new system here because it's making things too easy for the Lakers. But then again, of course, we all saw what happened 12, 13 years later, right? Yeah. We all saw what happened when all of a sudden David Stern and the competition committee decided to implement the zone when Shaq had just won his third straight championship. If you think that's a coincidence, then you're not very observant. The difference between the Lakers in 2000 versus the Bulls in the 90s, this isn't to throw shade on the Bulls and Michael Jordan and Pippen, but in the 90s, the difference between those two teams, because, and I use those two teams as an example because there's always a discussion, what's the better team? Who would have won versus the 96 Bulls versus the 01 Lakers, right? It's a good discussion. Something that we should talk about during the year as well, even more.
Yeah, I'd look forward to that. Absolutely.
The difference between the 90s Bulls and the Lakers in 2000 is the Lakers kept getting resistance from the league versus Bulls, Jordan were assisted during that time. That's the difference.
That is the difference.
Now, was it being done on purpose? There is no documentation that people were sitting around saying things. However, you got to look at the earmarks. What happened after the Lakers acquired Pau Gasol? What happened after the Lakers win 3 straight? We can't stop Shaq. Shaq was 400 pounds in 2002. The most out of shape he had ever been in his career, and he still ended people's lives during that run. We can't stop him. We can put enough articles in there to try to create some kind of rift between him and Kobe. See, here's the difference. Here's why we love Kobe Bryant. Even through all the BS, Kobe always scaled back in the playoffs. He always kept the issues behind. It came to the forefront in 04, obviously, during the Detroit Piston thing. But that whole year was a different story. It wasn't about Shaq and Kobe. It was about Kobe's major mistake that he made in his life that absolutely just destroyed that year and destroyed him and destroyed everything on that team. But he always scaled back his concerns because winning was more important. So once that was not going to fix anything for the people around the league, hell, we gotta put a zone in here now. We got to make sure we can't keep having Shaq dominate. And then, of course, what happens. They lose immediately that following year because there was always that discussion with the Spurs where they always ran the 1-1, the 1-4. They kind of disguised the 1-4 zone, but they were so good, so technique driven, and so fundamentally sound. They're able to do it and still hide it. But of course, Phil Jackson always had his innuendos and always set up the media and always set up everything with his trolling. But again, once San Antonio was able to legally zone, look at what happened to that. Look what that team did in 03. It absolutely helped them. And then the Lakers, it took the Lakers a year or so to adjust, and they were able to beat them. So anyways, years after that, then, of course, Pau Gasol goes to the Lakers. More bitching starts to happen, and then you start seeing more and more come into effect in terms of not being able to cater to the Lakers anymore because everybody was complaining. Mark Cuban, everybody praises Mark Cuban for certain things. I'm always that guy in the background going, Mark Cuban is a front-running hypocrite. Wait, what? What are you talking about, Joe? Why are you always hating on things? I'm like, it's got nothing to do with Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. This is about him behind the scenes. He's a weasel. He's a weasel like most of you are weasels. When you don't get your way, even a billionaire starts bitching, especially a billionaire that doesn't get what he wants. Dr. Buss and the Buss family have been clowning billionaires for a very long time. That was the beauty of Dr. Buss. And if they weren't billionaires, he was clowning multi-millionaires like Jack Kent Cooke and all those owners, old owners like Red Auerbach and all those guys in the 80s when everyone was laughing at him. What are you doing putting a bunch of strippers during commercial breaks? Why are you running the fast break? Why is everybody smiling, having a good time, right? This is a serious game. Even Jerry West thought that way. But what makes Jerry West great is he adapted. He understood it too. And he learned something from Dr. Buss. All of them did. Everyone learned something and they accepted the learning. That's the thing. You can stay old school in a lot of things in life and never veer off, meaning respect areas, respect your elders, respect your friends, respect your spouse, make sure your kids respect authority. That's a big one for me. If I see your kids being disrespectful, that is all on you. 100%. You screwed up in that area. And there's a lot of bad things with that. And this is what that is.
And with that, again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers win 126-116. They are 1-2 on the season. Don't forget, Tuesday and Wednesday are the Lakers games, and we'll have them for you on playback.tv/Lakers fast break and the post game. The world famous Lakers fast break post game to follow, of course. I will have more NBA team previews throughout the week. Hoping to go ahead and get some more opinions from all around the world for you guys to check out as far as the teams that they cover on a daily basis. So they're very insightful, some really great conversations. So I hope you guys will get a chance to check them all out. There's a full playlist already on YouTube for already a great percentage of the NBA team previews that I've done. I've got them all lined up for you, and I'm going to release a new one each and every day for you guys on audio and for you guys on video as well. But before we head on out, my friend, two quick questions. First up, before we get to the Bronny question that I think you'll have an issue with here, and I don't want to go ahead and say that yet because I want to get you while you're in a focused mind. With the Dodgers obviously having a very important week with the National League Championship Series, starting with the Brewers, what is your coverage going to be on the Joe Soro Experiment channel, both on playback and also as well your channel on YouTube?
My schedule is sort of starting to get a little bit easier to manage to where my late nights aren't affected. See, I work late at night because I don't get interrupted. So a lot of my phone calls and a lot of my dialogue, a lot of my work, I try to avoid the office late at night as much as I can, but sometimes I have to be there. I have to be at the office warehouse. Otherwise, it takes physical work that I got to do there so that everything gets set up the way it needs to. So I'm not bunching everything up. Everything in the business is about not getting behind so that I don't have to deal with it later. So with that, and with the Lakers starting the season, it's going to be my schedule and the time of the year is going to be a little easier for me to be available. Now, the next couple weekends are going to be tough because I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I'm going to be up in San Francisco, Bay Area. Then the following weekend, I believe, is following couple weeks from then is going to be Halloween weekend, and I will be in Arizona. So that's what's going on there.
It looks like Ohtani Anthony's pitching on Saturday. Is that correct? They're pushing.
So Ohtani. So yeah, Snell is starting game 1, and Yamamoto is starting game 2, and then I believe the starting. Here, let me bring it up real quick. The starters. I think what Roberts is trying to do here is he knows he needs Shohei to be hitting better. Shohei cannot go 1 for 18 again in a series. Now, I get it. But I think it had a lot to do with the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies had 3 lefties in this series, and they saw 4 of them because one pitched again in the 4th game. The Phillies had, in my view, the best set of left-handers in baseball. That is why he struggled. There was a little bit of maybe a struggle because he pitched in game 1. But I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they ran into Philly, and Philly's lefties played all-world baseball. Because it wasn't just Shohei who struggled. Freddie Freeman struggled too. Freddie Freeman couldn't see the ball pretty much the entire series. That's how good Philly's lefties were. Now, the Brew Crew are very right-handed heavy. So that's a good start. I feel much better seeing Ohtani and Freddie seeing more righties coming in than not. I, much like today with Seattle and Toronto, if the Dodgers win game 1 tomorrow, you are going to see a very, very, very nervous Brewers team after that. Because what's going to happen is, and it happened against Philly, they're going to see, oh, shit. We just lost. And it was worse in game 1 against Philadelphia because Philadelphia had that game. That game was almost done. And then Teo hit a 3-run jack to the opposite field. And when Teoscar Hernandez hits anything productive in the opposite field, you're done. When he starts hitting opposite field, you can't stop the Dodgers. They never lose when he does that because it shows that he's gotten disciplined, that he's seen the ball at that point, and he picks his spots. And usually his spot is RBI hit or a home run. So if they beat Milwaukee either in a similar fashion that they beat Philly in the first game or a blowout or just a simple game like today, just where they just played well and they went through 9 innings and won, I think what's going to start happening is everyone, including Milwaukee, is going to realize, holy shit, this is not July anymore. And this isn't the Dodgers in July with Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates. Now you're dealing with Snell probably going 6 or 7. They're throwing Sheehan in there for a couple innings, and then Rocky's waiting to close your ass out. And no one can see what Rocky's throwing. His split with that 101 mile an hour fast, you are not going to hit that ball. You have to guess to hit it. And that late in the game, if you're down 2 or 3 runs, you can guess all you want. You're going to get bounced. And at this point, I just can't believe when I looked at the stats after the game, the Dodgers got outscored, out batting averaged, out stolen bases, out singled, out doubled, out tripled, out home run, out everything statistically, offensively, and they still won that series in 4 games. If that's going to happen against what I thought was the best team of the regular season in the league, baseball, anything can happen. I get it. But if all things considered stay the same, you are going to see a back-to-back championship hat here in about 3 weeks.
So with that, Joe, one last Lakers question that Bronny James.
I feel like very sermon-like this last hour. Is it sounding like that?
No, it's
or I just sound normal. I don't know.
Just calm.
Yeah, good.
I think you sound normal. I think people are just always wanting rants from you, and when you're trying to just give sound,
it's hard to
insight.
rant. You guys would have loved. You guys would have hated me in the 2000s. I would have never been known as for the rants. Think about it for a second. From 2000 to 2010, I witnessed 7 championships from my teams. I was the happiest fan on the planet. And if not for I was watching the 2008 NLCS, some of the clips. Corey Wade doesn't get enough flack. It's Bronxton that gets the flack because of the Matt Stairs home run. But Corey Wade actually should get more heat for the Victorino home run before they brought in Bronxton. The Dodgers were up 5-3.
Yeah.
Corey Wade actually was Corey Wade was the problem in that series. Bronxton came in when it was tied. Should have never been tied. There was 2 outs too, by the way. And then, of course, the one in 2009 when it was the bottom of the ninth. That one was a killer when Jimmy Rollins hit that double to win the game. But yeah, even towards the end of the decade, the 2008-2009 Dodgers, that team was really fun to watch with Manny Ramirez. I had rarely seen at that time in my life, a singular player make that kind of an impact in a winning situation. It's so hard in baseball because you only get not one chance per 9 to make a difference, right? And I just never seen anything like that. And I wanted there to be a reward for it. I really wanted, and I felt very, very, very confident that had they won in 2008, they'd beaten the Phillies in 2008, they would have beaten the Rays in the World Series. Whether they would have beaten the Yankees in 2009, I don't know. That Yankee team was pretty good. But 2008, I felt very comfortable. It would have been nice to 2008. So check this out, Gerald. 2008 was an interesting year. So we had the 2008 Dodgers. Had they won the championship, I would have had the 2008-2009 Lakers win a championship. Then the 2008-2009 Steelers win a championship, all in the same calendar year. Everything would have started in that calendar. It was that close. I got married in 2008 too, by the way.
There you go. We'll speak of something about marriage here in a minute.
It would have been pretty close to the greatest, because that Steelers season obviously is the greatest season I've ever witnessed. Not winning it all has to be the button, right? But my God, that was the most fun watching football for my team ever. They had the hardest schedule at that time in years. They went through the hardest schedule. I think it was 20 years, they said, in terms of winning percentage from the year before. And even the games they lost were formidable losses. They lost to Philly and Philly, which they always lose to Philly and Philly, right? They lost like 15-8 or something, 15-9, right? Then you had the losses to the Mannings on back-to-back games, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Eli was at his peak at that point, and so was Peyton Manning to a degree. And then, of course, the one loss they always have against the Ravens every year at that point. After that, it was epic games of just winning and seeing one of the best defenses I'd ever seen as well at that time. And then, of course, how it ended with the Super Bowl. And then the Lakers that year going into the 09 season, coming off that loss in the finals and seeing them put together a 65-win team and essentially, other than maybe the Houston series, really dominate the whole way.
So before we head on out, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and get you a comment from Bronny James. Joe, why did Mark Walter pay JJ and extend him? You said it would be. I'll let you think about that for a second.
Why did he extend JJ?
Yes, although actually technically it was, Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss that extended it.
I don't know. I have to believe there's got to be some kind of dialogue no matter what. And maybe there was an understanding, well, let's give JJ a chance here. Let's really give him a chance. Let's really say, JJ, we don't want to change coaches again. Let's see what this can be. You're gonna have Luka Doncic for the next decade. We would really like to see if we can create a Greg Popovich scenario where Luka can have the same coach his entire career in LA. I can understand that. But I think the Lakers need to get rid of LeBron to really feel that in its full effect. And maybe that is exactly what's happening. It's just we're waiting for this contract to end, which is what's probably pissing LeBron off, knowing that the door is slowly opening up to saying, thank you for being here, LeBron. We appreciate your service here, but it's time now for Luka to take over. And we need your money to go put it to something else.
So with that, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Once again, the Lakers win 126-116. Lakers go to 1-2 on the exhibition season. Their next game is in Phoenix against the Phoenix Suns. So please join us, playback.tv/Lakers fast break. And of course, after the game, the world famous post games right here at the Lakers fast break. Don't forget to check out Joe Sorrell's coverage of the Dodgers as well on the playback channel, the Joe Sorrell Experiment. I think Barry, put an E instead of an O. And then, of course, whatever Joe does as far as his post games or whatever he wants to talk about at night, if he's available to do so, at the Joe Sorrell Experiment channel on YouTube. But before we head on out, I've got a great announcement for you guys. You notice John Costa wasn't here tonight. Well, he apologized for not being here, running Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk and all that. But he has a great reason why he's not here today. And thank you, Serge. Truly appreciate the $5. Thanks also to Blake for becoming a member. Truly appreciate it for $2.99. But thank you again, Serge, as best. You guys are awesome. All the mods are awesome. And Serge, the Jedi master of all the mods. Truly appreciate you modding again. But I want to make an announcement that he allowed me to say I could go ahead and do. He couldn't make it tonight, Joe, because he asked his girlfriend for her hand in marriage, and she said yes. So
Excellent.
He is an engaged man, so to speak. So yes, he showed me the pictures and all that, very well laid out, and he is going to be married in the not too distant future, right there for you. So yeah,
good job.
Congratulations to John Costa on his impending nuptials, and cannot say it couldn't happen to a better guy. So yes, congratulations. Yes, Kurt, congrats to John. It's a better announcement when they say yes. Absolutely. It's like, I put all this money into it because he had a nice elaborate thing set up for his future missus, and she did say yes. So there you go. All right. Any last words, my friend, before we head on out, Joe?
No.
Go Dodgers is what I'll say. Go Lakers and go
8
Dodgers.
wins. 8 wins from what some say would be a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I look at dynasties different. I think for you to be a dynasty in a short window, you have to 3P. To be a
so
dynasty,
not like the Aces in 3 and 4 years.
That could constitute as a dynasty. There's and
they made the finals the other year, but they were throwing that around as soon as
there's an argument there. For me, the number 4 was always the dynasty number. And maybe it's because I grew up with the Steelers winning 4 in the 70s and the Niners winning 4 in the 80s. Of course, the Bulls winning 6, the Lakers winning 5, So I grew up in the 80s and 90s seeing 4, 4, 5, 6. And to me, that kind of constituted as a dynasty. That's the number. So the Lakers won in 1980, 82, 85, 87, and 88. That is a dynasty. They won 5 championships in 8 seasons. That's a dynasty. And you have pretty much the same working parts in those runs. I had a discussion about whether the San Antonio Spurs were a dynasty in 99, 03, 05, 07, and 2014. I would say you could call it the Duncan dynasty, but I don't know if they were a dynasty. They never repeated, and their championships were kind of spread out. There's an argument for it for the 03, 05, 07, sure. It's very similar to the Giants in 10, the San Francisco Giants in 10, 12, and 14. But I feel like the number 4 is the number. So the Yankees winning in 96, 98, 99, and 2000, that is a dynasty. 4 and 5 is a damn good number, especially with a three-peat in there. So for me, I think for the Dodgers, in my view, my instincts are saying the Dodgers have to win, let's say this year. They'll have a repeat. That'd be nice to have a repeat in there. And then let's say if they lose next year and win in 2027, then they're a dynasty because then they will have won 4, what would it be, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. They will have won 4 in 8 seasons. That is a dynasty.
Fair enough.
However, I don't give a shit about any of that. My focus right now as a fan is win 8 more games this year, and we'll worry about next year. Win them, win them, win them, and I want to see a back-to-back championship in Dodgers history. They have never won a back-to-back championship in all of their luster. They've been around since 1884. Let me repeat that. The Dodgers have been in existence, and I know a lot of people don't know this about baseball. Baseball's been around a long time. The Dodgers have existed. Now, they've had several different nicknames. The Bridegrooms, the Trolley Dodgers, the Robins. They finally stuck to the Dodgers because in Brooklyn, people would have to dodge the trolleys. That's why they called them the Trolley Dodgers. That's how life was at that point. So they've been around since 1884. And they have been the class of the National League with the St. Louis Cardinals. However, the Cardinals have 11 World Series championships. The Dodgers have 8. I am focused as a fan on seeing if the Dodgers would during the Ohtani era, which is after this season, there's still 8 more seasons left. I want to see if they can eclipse the St. Louis Cardinals and get into the position of the second most championships in Major League Baseball history, which would be 12, which means they would need to win 4 more. So if they win this year, then they have 3 more to win in the final 8 years of the Ohtani era. And I think that's a fair number. I think that's something that can happen. Because they're not catching the Yankees in my lifetime or your lifetime. We're talking about likely a whole century, and we're 75 years until the end of the century. They would need to make a Yankee run during this century. Yankee run like the Yankees had in the 20th century. And the Yankees would likely have to have a Chicago Cubs or Chicago White Sox or Boston Red Sox drought for them to catch up to 27. That's little bit outside what we were talking about, but again, that's some of the stuff. Sometimes that's the life I live. Sometimes I look at shit like that and wonder. Yeah, the Seattle World Series, should the Dodgers beat the Brewers, the Seattle World Series would be, I think, a better matchup than Toronto. I think they beat Toronto or Seattle either way, but it would be nice to not have to move time zones.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
I like Seattle as a city. I think it's a pretty good city. I've been to it many times.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much I liked Seattle when I went there years ago. I really was. I don't know what it was. I think it might have been.
It's got a nice appeal to it to me.
I think it might be that sometimes you feel it in your skin. I don't know if the air is better there. I don't know if the rain or if the crispness of the air over there, I don't know if that plays a factor in it, but a lot of times I can feel like I come into a town, I'm like, I got a good feeling about this. And it usually it's pretty good. Miami was probably the worst big city I've been to, but I went there in August, which was probably the bad idea. But I had work. It was work. I had to be there for work. It was the worst place to be in August. July and August. Yeah, July and August. It was so fucking hot. Oh my God. I thought heat was bad here. It's nothing like that in Miami.
I was not the first time I went to Florida and I got off the plane. I was not prepared for the heat. I've never, as being a West Coast guy, I never experienced that. I just got off the plane and instantly just stepped outside the plane because it was an outdoor gate where you have to go down the steps. Instantly stepped outside the plane. Instantly, my whole shirt was soaked because it just hits you right in the face right there.
Bronny James, the reason why I went into baseball mode is to troll back to the fucking trolling you've been doing for the last hour. So suck on that a little bit. How about that?
Find a jump shot, Bronny.
Yeah.
And then you
and do us all a favor. Find it elsewhere in about 9 months. We don't want you here.
Agreed.
We don't want you in LA. You're gonna lose all your LA privileges as soon as Daddy's gone.
Yes, I would agree on that one. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. The score was 126-116. We'll be back on Tuesday. But also, remember, I've got NBA team previews lined up for you for every day this week. So check on that. And also, maybe in the future as well. Actually, already in the future, I've already recorded it. A upcoming special interview for a Lakers book that I think you guys will be very interested in checking out. Very, very good book. I'm already well into it. I cannot say yet because of embargo reasons what it is, but I am very excited to go ahead and share my interview with the author and share you my thoughts on this book as well. It's very inside Jeff Pearlman winning time-ish, but it wasn't written by Jeff Pearlman, and I'll just leave it at that. But so for Joe Soro, it is me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Check out the Pop Culture Cosmos tomorrow morning on your drive to work. And also as well, check out the Joe Soro Experiment for the Dodgers coverage on both playback and on YouTube. And of course, everything that we do always right here for you as Lakers fans at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
Hey, Bronny, thank you for being you.